Well, hey there, everybody. I'm back. Good afternoon. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. Welcome back to my bee yard in Southeast Louisiana. Yep, that's right, folks. I'm back. Massive cleanup effort with some friends that came in from Florida and refueled us, refed us, refreshed us, and helped us. Check this out. Hey folks, well, we have gotten cleaned up. I actually cut the grass today. I'm breaking a sweat. Been working. Hey, we're 10 days after the storm. See my RV camper right here is parked up here with a generator hooked to it. So I got me some AC. We're still out of power. And hopefully you caught the shorts where I updated everybody. We still have no internet, but cell service is back up. So the way I uploaded the next morning video was basically with we finally got a steady enough, strong enough signal through the phone where I could try and do a hotspot. I tried it several times right after, and it was next to impossible. Took about 3.5 to 4 hours to do it with the good signal. So videos are going to be an issue from now on until I can get the internet, and I don't know when that'll be. They're working on the power lines. They've actually got them grounded, and they've been clearing trees off of them. And that road down the hill, oh my goodness, I went down there, and it is amazing how many trees went down that road. 20 or so. Oh, it's huge trees too. It's just they took them all day to clear 200 yards of road anyway. But hey, we're back. We're back in it. But I expect power, honestly, in the next, I hope, 2 days. They're powered that way and back that way, but then that way and that way, south and west, it's terrible. It's just mangled lines everywhere. But we still got mangled lines here. We got mangled lines at the front. They're trying to cut them out and get everything lined up. We got busted poles, transformers on the ground still. It's just a mess. But hey, let's take a look at the appearance. Look what we got. We are recovered. The bee tree, they left. We got to cutting it up, and when we cut right there, we stopped. The next day, we went to dragging off limbs, and right up here on this branch, a little old colony balled up, and we looked, and they were absconding from the stump. We were in the midst of working. They were little. It's late. I'm hoping they found a place to go, but they're gone. So the good note is they didn't die. Hopefully they won't. Those are the big trees that went down. That's the one that crushed my top bar. Then this stump was made today. Now this one, it's bulging in the back because it's pulling up. I think the Holy Spirit was holding that thing up, keep it off my house. Maybe God wanted me to keep my house a little longer, I suppose. I don't know. Whatever the case is, the Lord spared the house because that thing was leaned over. It was leaned over like at an angle, and y'all saw that probably on the after video, but it's bulging up. Well, these guys coming, this is the main one we want to cut. Look at the yard. It's all cut. It's all mulched. It took a long time. And the imprint of this tree when it went down. Look at the imprint. The tree, that's exactly what it was. Down, and it had a curved top. Nothing but a stick now. So yeah, it's cleaned up. Went and mowed around all the hives. And so what we did the first morning was we cut our driveway out, and then the neighbors, we all got together and cut my driveway out, cut out the neighbor's driveway, cleared the whole road. And then, in the meantime, we cleaned off our back porch, put all our plants back on the front, blew them off, blew all the porches off, put the plants back where they belonged. And I actually went and put the supers out. And it was one of those things where you just kind of got to get back to normal as fast as you can, kind of get something back in order, because everything is out of order. It was an amazing feat. My two friends from high school who are my best friends, and We went to work, and I'm telling you, we cleaned this place up in 2 days for the most part. Now, I had done a lot before, cleaned around the pond, pulled the live oak and the crepe myrtles out, but we're missing 7, 8 trees around the pond, and them water oaks are just destroyed up top. Those hangers are dangerous, but they're out of the way. Nobody goes over there. The fence is already destroyed from the tree that fell on it, so no worries. But look at the yard, huh? I'm so happy to have it back in order. It's just, it's right for your mind to know things are back in order. The house is cleaned up. Yeah, there's no power, and no internet. So I don't know when we'll be uploading videos, but you know what? I got so far ahead of the game so quickly because these guys came over. There you go, folks. That's where we're at. I'm so excited that this yard is cleaned up, that I have awesome friends that drove all the way over and supplied us with fuel and food and Gatorade and labor. So yeah, we are cleaned up, and it was a lot of work, but it's done. I mean, you know, there's still stuff to do here and there, but majority of it's done. And so it's back to doing bees. It's pollen trap time. I'm late with the pollen traps. I wanted to do it 2 weeks ago, but you know, we had a storm. Ida had different plans for us. So yeah, it dropped me behind. Pollen harvest, I wanted to make it longer than last year, but I couldn't, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. We'll get some pollen off of goldenrod for sure, and they're bringing in some pollen, and I actually smelled goldenrod. Pollen is something, I've trapped it over the years, but last year was my first year to really trap a bunch and try to get it to market, and I did. And it wasn't a ton because it was a late season grab. This is gonna be another late season grab. I'm still a little nervous about doing it in the spring. Pollen's tricky, you don't wanna rob too much. But I think what I need to do is just next year dedicate 2 or 3 hives. 2 or 3 colonies are going to be pollen colonies, not production, honey production colonies, but pollen production. And you know, you keep them, you gather pollen 2 or 3 days, and you go back 3 or 4 days with no, they got to have pollen, so you can't rob it all. It's just like honey, you can't take it all. So a little nervous with it, a little new with it, as far as knowing exactly how much, but have been doing it for a few years. Just experimenting with it, and of course last year was a great success in sales. Sold out very quickly. Don Bearden, faithful viewer, bought 2 from me, and Don knows the rest of those things sold so fast, make your head spin. People still asking for it, so we got to get the traps on. Let's get busy. I'm gonna show you the ones I use, what I like, what I don't like, and how we're gonna do it. So let me show you what I got for pollen traps. I don't have a lot. I have 3 different kinds. I have the one I like the best, the one I like the least, and the one that falls in the middle. All right, so Sundance, this is my favorite. It's got a drawer. It'll be switched to this side with 2 screws. Remove that panel, which I'm gonna do on that other one. And it uses your existing bottom board. All right, here's a bottom board. So you see you're trapping pollen on this. This goes right on top of your bottom board, and you stack your boxes right back on top. And what this does is, I got it upside down, so don't trap pollen with an upside down bottom board. This is one of my old bottom boards, but anyway, so you put this on your bottom board. There it is. Utilizes existing entrance. That is trapping pollen. It forces them through this trap, up through the back or the front. There's some grooves up in there, you won't be able to see them. Forces them up through the screen that strips their legs of the pollen, and they come out of here into the colony. To go out, they go through these tubes. They can't come back up that way. So you're trapping pollen, simple as that. You decide not to trap pollen, which we won't for a few days. You slide this down, your hive body's sitting up here. Now they can go directly into the hive. You raise it up, you're trapping pollen again. It's that simple. These are pretty cool, they're easy to install. The only thing with these I found is sometimes the little plastic pegs, it locks in there. You got to slide it over and lock it over that peg so it don't fall down, so you're not trapping pollen, because you don't want to trap pollen all the time. You do that. Well, I found it slips down sometimes, so I keep a block of wood. I just shove that block of wood in there like that, and if it falls, it's not going to shut all the way. Of course, when you're trapping pollen, you just simply reach your hand in there and shut that. Okay, it's going to fall down in this drawer. And my least favorite is Man Lakes. This one does not use existing bottom boards. You got to take your bottom board out. And how this one works is, all right, if we're now in a trapping pollen mode, they have to go in here. If they go in here, they go under the screen, They come out of these holes into the colony, okay? When we're done trapping pollen, okay, so first and foremost, when we're not trapping, we take these out, okay? Now, theoretically, the way this works, we start out like this, get them used to coming and going out of these holes, okay? These holes allow them to go right in here and right into the hive, okay? They don't have to go through the screen and out this hole. Okay, so now you want to trap pollen, you put them in. They can't fly back into these tubes. First off, you got to keep up before these little tubes, okay? Second, once they get used to this entrance, sure, they want to go back, they can't, they're forced to go in here. Well, guess what happens when you're done after 3 days of trapping pollen, you pull these back out? They still go through the pollen entrance because they've reoriented to that. They don't reorient to this. So what I had to do was stick a cover over that hole when it's time to not trap pollen. And that keeps them from going back in there, and now they'll start going in here. So you gotta keep up with these tubes, and you gotta do it. Other than that, it does work fine. Folks, always remember, as I'm sitting here showing you what I'm doing, I'm not doing a how-to video. I'm doing a how I do video. It's a brand, folks, it's a brand now. Yeah, I'm just showing you what I know about it. I'm not telling you how to do pollen traps, showing you what I do and what I've tried and what I've experimented with, and still learning. I wanted to put one on here, but it's got a warped lid. That's an entrance. Once you create a second entrance, they'll a lot of times use it. But I'm still gonna use my little front trap on this one. I think it'll be all right, but you're not supposed to do what I'm getting ready to do. So that's why this is not a how-to video. Don't ever make the mistake of saying, well, Mike Berry taught me how to do this way. Mike Berry just showing you how he does it. So I think we'll start with the front pollen trap first. It's easiest. I smoke them heavy at this time of year. Spring, you probably don't have to. Right now, they know it's robbing season. I know it's robbing season. It's hot, they're irritable, and they can be very, very defensive at those entrances right now. So this is the easiest one to install. Again, I'm gonna smoke them heavy. This one might not be good. I might have to come back and throw some steel wool in there because they can get in that side right there. But they can get in anywhere besides the pollen entrance. Usually you're not in good shape. This one being it's got something on the front, maybe a problem. On the top, maybe a problem. But this is, oh wait, you know what? These boards don't work with this one. So this is not a candidate now. See? Live and learn. Live and learn. I forgot, these boards stick out further. I gotta get a different bottom board. Now this colony here, it's got a shorter entrance. And I'm curious why it doesn't have a bunch of activity on it, because it usually is piled in. Shouldn't be any swarming this time of year. During the grass. Let me just shove this in here. Now they do make some screws that you can put to hold them in, but I find I don't need them. Again, the thing with this one is getting this screen up and keeping it up. All right, so basically what I'm gonna do is this little door comes open. It stays open if you hook it to the left, you push it, but it doesn't always stay. So I stick this in here in case it does fall. It's only gonna go so far. And then the bees, even if it falls down that board, they can still get in without trapping. I don't want to trap pollen right off the bat. This right here on the side, that's a drone. It's a drone hole. So some will find their way in that, but for the most part, they're coming to the front. But that's a drone hole. And when you shut the screen, that way the drones can get out. That colony had a lot of bees. I don't know why there wasn't many on the front. The other day it was piled up there. Some of these colonies, I don't know about strength as far as where I'm putting them, but they were strong. They were identified early on. Now all of a sudden they don't look quite as good, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. There you go. So it's not trapping pollen right now. They're using the top holes. When I want to trap, I put the tubes in and open that bottom entrance. But we'll leave them like this a few days, let them get used to the entrance, then we'll swap it and mess them up. Next candidate, over here. Heavy smoke, man. If you start messing with their entrance this time of year, ooh, they get upset. Now you gotta lift them kind of high to get this thing to stand on its own when they're this heavy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This isn't good. We might have a beetle issue. I need to take a look-see in there. I opened it up. I was just listening to him. I happened to look up inside the colony. I saw one frame with liquid on the bottom. Now that one looks stronger. But now I'm seeing some signs of hive beetle slime. So I'm going to look. So the colony was weak. It never did strengthen up. I think what's happening is my bees are all down at the bottom. Because I opened it up and I found a wax moth larvae crawling on the lid, and this is what I see inside. I want to say this with the best intentions because I saw on a forum, I may have said this in other videos, they said, oh, wax moths killed my hive, small hive beetles killed my hive. No. And the person said, yeah, but my hive was strong. No, it wasn't. If it was strong, they wouldn't have got it. They're opportunists. This hive was weak. I knew it was weak. All of a sudden it looked strong on the bottom. Now I know why. They're all in the bottom. Just look in the top. That's wax moths. Wax moths have infested, and I've got small hive beetles because I got wet frames. So what we're going to do is reduce them down immediately, take the pollen trap off, and be done with the top box. I want you to know that where we went to put that front trap, I found a very weak hive too. Problem is that one was a very, very strong hive, and now it's not. That colony has dwindled. Tells me they have a mite infestation. Oxalic acid was put to them starting in August, but they may have already had the infestation too heavy. And so now I went ahead and reduced them down. They didn't have any wax moths, nothing like that. They were still had good solid frames in there. They were just empty, nothing in them. So I reduced them to one box. It's over there. My colonies that I just opened and looked at are not looking strong, so that's a bad thing. See, I knew this one was weak, but that one was strong. Now it's very, very weak. So that's a weak hive. It has been overrun at this point with wax moths. Got to get it out of there. We're gonna get all the bees out of there. See if it's salvageable in the bottom. If it is, reduce them down to one box. Get that pollen trap out. So I can't put that little front entrance one on because none of my boards fitted. I forgot about that last year. I had to be picky about where I put it. All the colonies I got with short boards are not strong. I'm not gonna put it on that one. It's weak. So pollen may not be an option this year. I got some more strong hives I can put this Sundance trap on, but it's not going to go on that one. So only hope you have for them is to strengthen them by giving them less space to guard. I'm going to do that now. I'll get back to y'all. Alright guys, looks like a war zone out here. The thing was too far gone. I thought I could get it in a nuke. I saw about 5 or 6 frames on the bottom. It looked okay, but they weren't. They were trashed. Barely looked like any kind of sign of any kind of queen. Maybe they absconded already. So I began to just shake them out. Wasn't even worth putting in a nuke. The frames are trashed, everything's trashed. So as I shook them out, they're going back to that colony that seemed weak all of a sudden. So we'll find out what they do in there. And when the mites begin to really peak in the middle of summer, the bees get sick. And if you can't get them treated in time, sick is sick. It doesn't matter what you do. You can kill the mites all you want, but the viruses have already been vectored into them. This one was a nice strong hive, and now all of a sudden it's kind of weak. I could be sending sick bees in there, but it's weak anyway, so I'm not sweating that. We started our OA, but we didn't finish it because of the hurricane. Had I went ahead, I was planning on going through some in-summer inspections here pretty quick, but then the hurricane came. Last few weeks have been just dealing with that, so we weren't able to get in them. If I was able to have gotten in it, I might would have saved it and been able to reduce it, but like I did the one over there, but I didn't. So it is what it is at this point. It's a loss. Yeah, you got to check your bees. I usually don't check them often this summer, maybe every month, but this time it didn't happen. Only did probably half of my colonies. But right now for pollen, that one can't be used. Obviously, I'm not going to put that one on there, and I'm not going to go find another colony at this point. It's kind of late in the evening, and it's late in the season for it. So I guess I'm really just going to, I'll leave that one on for now. Maybe I'll get some pollen. Probably won't get much. Remember, you got to have, just like honey, you got to have a big workforce to get a lot of pollen. That's a good strong colony, but again, one trap, only can do it every couple days. Probably won't yield much. So I may end up taking it back off, and just pollen being a bust this year. I couldn't get it done in time with that storm coming and everything happened. So hey, life happens. Now I need to concentrate more on keeping my bees alive at this point, and making sure my hives are brought down to whatever size they need to be. I got to pull these supers off. I'm planning on doing that, but again, the storm came, so we got set back for 3 weeks. But I got to get back on it because I'm going to see more of that if I don't. So after we shook them all out and got the equipment out of here, they went to the hive next door. Now, did I put sick bees into a good colony? Maybe. Either way, they were going to die, abscond, and get robbed out, and robbing out would have yielded the same thing. Now maybe we can just keep it in one hive if it is a sickness, where they would have went in here and could possibly got something on them, you know, robbing it. But this hive wasn't that strong anyway. So I looked in the top. They're not being overrun by beetles or wax moths or anything. Now they got extra bees. So if the bees are well enough to maintain, hey, good for them. If not, it was weakening anyway. It needs treating. I need to get my regime going again. The storm really slowed us down, but I'm going to have to go back after it again. So anyway, I'll talk more about that when I close this video out, but just wanted you to see where they all went. I like to shake bees when there's no hope for them sometimes, or when they're too far gone, or it's a laying worker colony. I just soon shake them and get them on their way, working in a new colony right off the bat. And I am careful about where I shake them at. I'm not going to go over and shake them in front of that stand because I got good colonies over there. Oh, well, guys, I am done. Wow. That 10-20 minute job turned into a fiasco. It's hot and humid. Got a Gulf tropical system moving in. Supposed to shoot north of here. Tropical storm Frederick, which would be a depression, and those storms always suck up the Gulf air, and it gets so humid. It's already humid here anyway. And you get that sucked up off the Gulf. Oh. Anyway, it's supposed to dump a bunch of rain tomorrow and the next day, so I wanted to get this done, get them used to their entrances. Pollen won't be available, but that didn't work out. So I broke a good sweat. It's hot. And it's funny, I was reading a comment on my last video from Matthew Clutterbuck over in, that's how I pronounce your name, I guess, or maybe anyway, that's what I read. And he said at their bee club they call it Mike It's Hot Barry, because I always talk about the heat. It is hot. It's not even hot out. It's just so humid I'm sweating. This is a normal look for me. You guys know. Anyway, Matthew, that's funny. I like it. We go out there and we find a deadout. It is what it is. And don't take me nonchalant saying it is what it is, as I don't care. It bothers me that I lost a colony. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy about it. But I'm not devastated. You know what I mean? I've been doing this long enough now. Shoot, we're going on 10 years now. And you know, I could have saved it if I'd have been in earlier. I was planning on doing assessments about 5 to 10 hives at a time, and I already gone through about half of them and did a few videos on them. And I didn't get to that one yet. They knew that one was kind of weak. That's why they introduced her in it, because when we had started a little bit of robbing one day with some harvesting, or with singles, was one of them, I noticed, I think it was that colony was being robbed. I put entrance reducers in all the weak ones, and it was a weak one. Well, then I saw bees, and I should have known better, because for some reason I'm like, well, it has been about 3 weeks. Maybe they had a big brood emergence, But then the other one's weakening down next to it. So basically, it was shot. They were all down at the bottom because there was nowhere else to go. So what did we find? We found one colony to put one on. As I lifted it up and put the pollen trap under, I looked and I seen a wet frame. That wasn't good. Dropped it down and thought, I better look in the top. Well, sure enough, it was infested with wax moths, meaning it was a weak colony. I knew it was weak, and there you go. They got infested, they got overrun. I'd have been in it 2 weeks ago when I was planning on going through some more. before that storm, and I'm not just blaming the storm, but it had a lot to do with it. I'm not going through them. We've just been trying to get my property in order. But yeah, I might would have been able to reduce it down and save it. So we basically have a dead out, because when I got down, I thought maybe I could salvage 5 frames with bees or put some new comb in or something, put them in a nuke, but it was just so scattered, messed up. Even if there was a queen, which you didn't see, we shook them all out. It'll work itself out. I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. I'm nonchalant about it, yeah, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. So I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get sad. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm just going to go, got to do something a little different. Got to make sure we're in them a little better. Because a lot of my colonies are looking weak right now. And I'm not sure exactly why, and I think maybe we just got a tough mite infestation. And I didn't do alcohol washes like I should. I know. I need to know, when you do mite treatments, you need to know if you're being effective or not. And you don't know it if you're not doing before and after ones. But I just don't normally do them, because I do go in and treat them all, but you really don't know what you're treating. So it's a little irresponsible on my part. You know, each year we refine something, and I refined how I did my splits and everything, and our production was better. Next year I think I'm going to refine my treatments a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to refine them. I'm going to probably switch over to strips, Apigard or something. I like what Cayman Reynolds was using, the thymol. I'm anxious to see his video and see how it comes out with the part 3 series on the next mite wash, because that looks like an easy treatment I'd like to do. What I'm looking for is maybe something I don't have to go after them as much, like with oxalic acid, and then just use oxalic acid in the winter. It's worked for me now, guys. It's worked for me, but it's so much work to do it that way in the heat. And look, if I would have treated something and put it in a hive, guess what? They'd have went through the hurricane being treated, and I wouldn't even have to worry about it. Mites peak in June. If you got strong hives, you got a good mite colony too. Always remember that. I learned that early on the hard way. Wondered all my strong ones were dying like that. That one next to it, why it's dwindling down. Well, it's probably mite infestation. I did pop the top. They're not being overrun by moths or anything, so they're good. So basically went out there to do a 10-minute, 15-minute job. First one, the thing wouldn't fit, so I went to a bottom board that it would fit on, and I'm like, wait a minute now, this colony used to be strong. So that's 2 of them I found that used to be strong. Open it up, bottom box is completely empty. Good comb, no wax moths, no beetles, nothing like that. So hey, we're good. Snatched it off, reduced it down to 1, pitched that pollen trap to the side. Went to the next one, it looked decent, looked good and strong, put it on there. I think it'll be all right. I went back and popped the top after these weak ones. It's full of bees. And remember, just like honey, you got to have a good workforce to get enough pollen, just like you have to have a good workforce to get enough honey. So I always think about that, and I think we're good on that one. But now we're down to 1 pollen trap, because we go to the third one and we find basically an overrun colony that looked like they were ready to abscond. Maybe even the queen and some of the bees have absconded. I don't know. I like to shake them out. Don't like to shake them out in front of a good stand, but you know, they went into a hive that was already weak, that I think is dwindling already. So far, the 2 shots of oxalic acid probably hasn't really knocked enough back. And again, if they were already sick, they were sick. Not a lot we can do at that point. So that job turned into a fiasco. I've got a bunch of frame swapping to do. I do want to freeze them to kill them after dark. I am going to go do a ground drench, because with all the rain, we haven't been able to get it back down. And I dumped a lot of larvae, small hive beetle larvae on the ground. Need to get those that ground drench in, so if they go to pupate, it'll kill them. And we need to stop the reproductive cycle. It's been about 3 months since I ground drenched, so very important that I do that, and I'm gonna get that done. But yeah, I'm nonchalant about it, but I'm not happy about it. Don't think I'm like, oh, it's just bees. I care about my bees, but I'm gonna have to switch up a treatment regime. You know, mites, looks like that whittled them down, and might be whittling a few more down. So there's good and there's bad in beekeeping, guys, and I have them just like everybody else. I have the good days and I have the good years, and I have the bad days and the bad years. And while we had a great harvest, it looks like we're suffering a little bit toward the end here and going into fall. So we got to go look at these bees, and we got to get a handle on things and see what's going on. All right, guys, that's going to be it. It is evening. I need to get these things swapped out. I'm going to feed some other frames back, get some frames frozen. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't mind, of course. Don't forget to share this video with friends, family, anybody that just enjoys watching bees. Y'all have a wonderful evening. May Lord God bless you. We'll see y'all later.